So, if we kind of want to know where did the concept of mindfulness come from, we have to know about one concept of Buddhism, that is the Four Noble Truths. Since Buddhism is more like a philosophy of life, Buddha, when he was preaching, he actually wanted to talk about the philosophy of life, which later became a religion. But the Four Noble Truths are the sermons which Buddha gave after he attained enlightenment. And mindfulness is a technique which was described by Buddha. It is a way to achieve the Four Noble Truths, something which helps people realize the Four Noble Truths. So basically, Buddha had talked about the eightfold way, which helps to gain enlightenment. And to do that, the person has to engage in some forms of meditation, among which mindfulness is one of that meditation. And remember, as you know, the term mindfulness was coined by John Kabat-Zinn and not Buddha. Buddha called it samadhi, vipassana, samatha. These were the names. The terms are in Pali. Buddha never spoke English. And so you would also find a lot of Pali words here. And like Freud's libido has been like Freud never used the term libido. Freud also spoke German. His books on personality and everything were written in German, and they haven't been ideally translated because German is a very difficult language to be translated to English. And something which is termed as libido in English was actually termed as Trieb by Freud in German. Trip does not actually convert to libido, but unfortunately that was the most closest sounding word. But Freud never meant something, the energy to be sexual. He was talking about an energy, something which needs fulfillment, but it was unfortunately converted to libido. So similarly, in Buddhism, we will find the word dukkha being repeatedly used. Now, dukkha is not sadness as we know it in Hindi, Bengali, or in other languages as well. Dukkha is a term which means something which cannot be achieved. However, since we become sad after we cannot achieve something, one particular thing, so dukkha generally gets associated with a sad emotion. However, dukkha does not mean sadness. It has a different meaning. But at the same time, you will find the word suffering has been used, and it's like very synonymous with dukkha. So again, Pali has been converted to English here. From dukkha, it becomes suffering, and it always means that the person is suffering, but it's not an appropriate conversion of the Pali term, because Buddha again didn't speak English. So we have to keep these things in mind and not be too biased towards the English term. We have to remember that none of these concepts were originally thought of or written in English. They were written in other languages, and these are the best translations which were available. So now Buddha's teaching on the Four Noble Truths, which is also known as the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, it is regarded as the quintessence of the Theravada school of Buddhism. There are different schools of Buddhism, and it's the Theravada school of Buddhism, which is more open to the idea of distributing the philosophy of Buddhism openly. They don't mind making others understand about the concepts of Buddhism. And they also let people from different backgrounds practice these philosophies as well. And it is considered to be one of the first sermons given by the Buddha after his enlightenment. Now, according to the Buddhist scriptures, it is known that after his enlightenment, Buddha was persuaded by Brahma Sahapati, the creator deity in Hinduism, to preach his learnings. And why? Because Buddha, after he gained enlightenment, he felt that the knowledge which he gained was so subtle that it could not be explained to anybody in words. And so he felt that there's no point in explaining what I learned. I guess it's better that I spend my entire life in this particular area where I gained enlightenment. And it is said that the Hindu deity had actually motivated him to preach his learnings. And he also convinced him that people with little dust in their eyes would be able to understand what he had discovered. By little dust, I suppose it was meant that people who are kind of average intelligence would be able to understand what Buddha had understood. And if you would know, Buddha had started his meditation in Sarnath, in the deer park in Sarnath. And you know, Sarnath is in Varanasi. But he later on went to Bodh Gaya, and that is where he actually attained enlightenment. And he also, there is this story about where Buddha had consumed food while he was practicing meditation and everything. So this is a learning which Buddha had also gained, that enlightenment, like, because when he was practicing with four other companions, so he kind of lived the life of an ascetic, made a lot of sacrifices and everything, but he was still not gaining that enlightenment. But after he kind of stopped giving pressure on his body, after he stopped providing pain to his body, he kind of achieved enlightenment. Like, he ate food, he lived a normal life, and with that also, like, he did not kind of go through a penance, he did not live the life of an ascetic, he lived a normal life, kind of quenching his thirst, um, eating whenever he felt hungry. So these are the things which he kind of practiced, and that is how he achieved enlightenment. So that was also a learning. You do not always have to live a life of sacrifices to know the essence of life.